All the institutions, don't they? Hospitals, who's majority run them? Women. Churches, who's majority run them? Women. Mosques, synagogues, who's majority run them? Schools, who's majority run them? Nurses, who's majority nurses? Huh? Little clubs, stuff going in the community, who's majority run them? Raising of children, who the majority runs it? How come we have so many women with children that are struggling to survive, that's living in poverty? Does that sound religious to you? Yes, it is religious. It's what they've been getting, called religion, which is a fraud. And no one has the guts to tell the truth about what's going on, because they're usually part of that hypocrisy. And then accusing Jesus, Allah, and Moses of that crap. Prophet Muhammad. It has nothing to, it has no association with Allah whatsoever. None of that crap. However, if you tell that truth, Muslim people want to lynch you. But the conditions out there tells you what the truth is. But because they're hypocrites, they won't deal with it. But they always talk about solving problems. Until you are willing to deal with the truth, you're not solving anything. Now, let's go back to mothers. So if you stop supporting institutions that don't support you, and if they don't support you, they can't support me, because I'm your husband, your boyfriend, your brother, and your son, no matter what my age. We just get bigger, but we do stay boys. You understand? And how can we protect you if you support the institutions that take us from you? Because you make them all run. But part of it is because you're subjugated and you figure, well, if you don't, you can't take care of your family. That they've broken up already. You're halfway trying to survive now. You see it's a catch-22? Not exactly, it just appears that way. Do you understand? So you've got to look at this thing the same way the DAR did. The same way the DAR set up the isolation codes that set up the Knights of Columbus, Ku Klux Klan, white community, etc., and overthrew the Moorish Empire, is the same way you got to take it back. Starting with never, and teach this to every woman that you know, give your child a European name. If you do, you're sealing their fate for a lot of crap that you don't know getting ready to come down the pipe. Do not let your child come here and take a breath of air on this earth and give that child a European name. And if somebody have tagged you with it, you give them a free national name anyway. So they don't have a bond on a free national name, because then internationally they are subject to international law and they can't operate with the straw man using an Asiatic name. They have to have a European name. That's why they always ask you, what is your Christian name? I mean, what name did the Christians put on you through your grandmother that they enslaved? Because that's the bond name. It's a wardship name. It is never your name. That is no different than a number or a mark for an account against you for their benefit. And that's what is used. So you want to look at mothers. When you get in organizations with other women and you start talking about community problems, you're going to talk about women coming together and dealing organizationally with fundamental principles of structuring forms and dealing with birth record forms coming from you and no longer using the corporate state forms. And talking about the subject matters of how to do it. That's what you should be discussing, not how to march. Because anything that you seek, you will find. Meaning that all things will not be said at this time, but I will tell you enough that you can become operative. Islam.
Well, I guess you would have answered my question, because I was going to ask how would one go about filing the proper documentation.
The first thing that you do, let me give you another instance. so that you can have an idea of how to start fixing things. Not that other people aren't doing this, because other people are working to fix things too. When Nobrali set up the old Canaanite temple, Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, etc., Great Seal, Moorish Divine National Movement of the World, etc., they are actually outposts or regent. They are regencies. They are regent branches of government. It was supposed to be done within these orders. It was not done. Does not mean that it cannot be done. It was not done, and so you would think in your mind, what do we do? It was done. It was corrupted. That's all. Do you understand? Yes. In other words, it was a social political platform that was incorporated within this government to redeem you, socially, politically, economically, industrially. Do you understand? And teach those things necessary to make you better citizens. However, that it had not been done has given people a wrong concept of the movement itself. And so people would view it as a religious sect, not knowing it has everything to do with their birthright and has nothing at all to do with what they believe or don't believe. They could be atheists and they still Moors. And that birthright still belongs to them. But because it wasn't presented to them properly, they have a misunderstanding and they agree to give up their birthright because they think they're protecting their beliefs. You see the problem? This is what the European has lived on and depended on and has been secure with. And only you can reclaim the Holy Grail. Only you. He may possess it. It is not his. And he does not have the strength to keep it as it appears that he does, because he has no power except what you give him.
Absolutely.
So you agree to that jurisdiction, and he claims it and files against you on it. But you need to know, outside of emotions, but by fact of due processes of law and color of law, how it is done, so that you yourself, even without the assistance of someone that knows legal processes, can do it, because law is based in common sense. Did you know that? Now people say, yeah, but I don't understand law. Did you know law is based in common sense? That's why it's called common law.
Yes.
It does not abridge your common senses. And if it does, it's usually color. Now you understand why they called us colored people? And our people thought it meant complexion, didn't they? It means faking people. Faking like they're human. The issue in the battle, brother, we're going to talk on 2 points here. That's dealing with the world's problems, is the problem of the blending of the nigger and the human. It was not done for the purpose of creating a problem. It was done for the purpose of solving a problem. However, when you mess with nature, problems come. You just got to deal with them. When the Albo declared themselves God, it kind of put a crimp in the gears. You get the point? Anything that thinks and anything that lives wants to live.
Explain what is the nigger.
The nigger is the people that the people read about in the books called Romans and Europeans. The ignorant call them white men. As a matter of fact, most of the ignorant think that they themselves are niggers, which they are not. The ignorant think that nigger is some nation in Africa, Kemet on the other side. Civilized world knows that they're uncivilized, which is why they believe that fiction. Because the niggers told them that and traded places with them and have their seat of power. Stole their birthright. So the humans think they're niggers, and the niggers are claiming to be white people, which is a status, not a complexion. Are we clear again? That's the complexity of the political social arena that they're dealing with, which is why the humans have difficulty solving their social, economic, spiritual problems.